At the end of the world, it is time to face the maelstrom. Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So it is time for another review in my review series for a franchise which is Pirates of the Caribbean. And today I'm going to be reviewing what is, of course, the third installment of a franchise. And to me, this is where a franchise should have ended, in my opinion. And this film, of course, which is the third installment, which I'm going to be reviewing, is none other than 2007's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Directed once again by Gore Verbinski. This was his last film in the franchise he directed, and you know what? Rightfully so. So, now, how was this film made then? So this film, of course, was first conceived as one of two sequels to the first film, The Curse of Black Pearl, in 2004, alongside my favourite one of the franchise, Dead Man's Chest, the previous one, with Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio developing a story arc that would span both these films. This film was shot in two shoots during 2005 and 2006, and of course, the last one was released as Dead Man's Chest, the second film. And this, of course, is the last one Gore Verbinski directed because he didn't want to direct anymore after this, and you know what, rightfully so. And with a production budget of nearly $300 million, it was, at the time of production, the most expensive film ever made. And the film was then released by Buena Vista Pictures Distribution in the United States on May 18th, 2007, and it received mixed reviews from critics who praised performances and visual effects, but criticised its plot, pacing and runtime. It was also the highest grossing film of 2007, bringing in over $963 million. I think it was probably due to the hype of this film, thanks to a second film's epic cliffhanger, weren't it? It was nominated at the 80th Academy Awards for Best Makeup and Best Visual Effects, and it won Favourite Movie Actor for Johnny Depp at the 2008 Kids' Choice Awards. Definitely a very well-deserved award. So, when it comes, of course, to my reaction to this film then, so, in early 2021, I, of course, binge-watched the Pirates of the Caribbean films, and after seeing the cliffhanger of my favourite one in the franchise, Dead Man's Chest, I got really, really hyped to then watch the third movie right afterwards. So, I watched At World's End after I saw Dead Man's Chest, and once again, just like the last two films, I once again loved it. And I definitely would regard it as my third favourite in the franchise behind the second film and the first film, if I was to rank them in order of how I'd rank them from best to weakest when it comes to a trilogy. And to me, it's where a franchise should have ended as far as I'm concerned. So, now what is this movie about then? So, after losing Jack Sparrow to the lock of Davy Jones, the team of Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann and Captain Barbossa make their final alliances with the pirate world to take on the forces of Lord Cola Beckett and his crew, including Davy Jones, who he now has control over. It's not going to be easy, as they must rescue Sparrow, convince all the pirate lords to join them and defeat Beckett, whilst each individual pirate has their own route which they wish to follow. So, now, when it comes to what I think is good about this film then, so, once again, I think the film has a really great cast of actors who make this trilogy so amazing. So, Johnny Depp, of course, returns as Captain Jack Sparrow, and he's definitely, once again, absolutely entertaining as always. Definitely, for me, a perfect casting, and Jack Sparrow always will be my favourite live-action Disney protagonist of all time. And in this film, he was once again definitely really amazing, entertaining, funny, and badass. Just what you need in a character, really. And he really nailed it, in my opinion. And Johnny Depp definitely once again showed great skills in this film as the great actor that he is. Because in this film, of course, Jack Sparrow doesn't appear until the half-hour mark, because obviously at the start of the film he's missing due to being taken by Davy Jones' locker. But the film makes up for it by giving us a pretty cool scene in which he's seen going mad by talking to lots of himself, really. And I think Johnny Depp really pulled it off really well, the idea of Jack Sparrow talking to himself. Like, that, in my opinion, was really well done. And for the movie, he once again absolutely nailed it, and he also demonstrated great skills as a sword fighter and just an amazing character, even a caring character as well, of course, I must say, too, like he always has been. I also once again love the return of Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swann as well. Always would be my favourite role of hers, and I love how in this film she got lots of developments, which I definitely think was very much needed. It's a big shame that Disney doesn't know how to develop characters compared to these films, isn't it, nowadays? It's a really big shame, really, that they can't develop characters properly anymore compared to this trilogy. And I think in this film, Keira Knightley once again did a really great job playing Elizabeth Swann. And I also once again love the return as well of Orlando Bloom as Will Turner. definitely once again made him a great character as always, and he was definitely really fun to watch him, especially in the film's final battle as well, I must say, really. I think he did a really great job in this. And also, the returning is definitely, of course, a massive surprise if you guys saw a cliffhanger a second film. I love the return of Geoffrey Rush as Captain Hector Barbossa. That will always be my favourite role of his, and I love that in this film he took on the role of like an anti-hero type of character where he joins forces with Jack's crew. I think that was really cool in my opinion, how he did that with Barbossa in this. And Geoffrey Rush gave an absolutely entertaining performance as it in this, and he was lots of fun to watch. Yeah, always be my favourite role of his. I also love return as well of Jack Davenport as James Norrington as well. I like how in his two sequels he became more likeable and was much more fun to watch. And I like how in this film, of course, he also had a role in helping Elizabeth escape from of course, the Flying Dutchman because he cares for her. So I definitely really like that. And also as well returning as well is also Jonathan Pryce as Governor Weatherby Swan. I definitely really liked him in this once again. Jonathan Pryce is a great actor, does a great job playing Governor Swan. And also as well, when it comes to the film's comic relief, I love return as well of Lee Arenberg and Mackenzie Crook as Rigetti and Pinsel. Like, those two are just so hilarious in my opinion, just so funny. And also when it comes to Rose's return for the second movie, one thing, of course, for return for the second, from which I once again love the return of, was most definitely Davy Jones, played once again by Bill Nighy from Motion Capture. And my praise for Davy Jones from the second film still stands with this film because he's still, in my opinion, one of the greatest villains of all time, especially in this film, of course. And Bill Nighy once again nailed it, and I've also once again got to give lots of praise to the visual effects department for creating Davy Jones and his crew, because the CGI for 2007 standards is absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion, and it holds up to this day as well. Like the film is from 2007, and in my opinion, it's aged beautifully. It really has. And speaking of the crew, I also love the return as well of Stellan Skarsgård as Bootstrap Bill Turner, Will's dad. And he was once again great in this too as well. Oh, definitely favorite role of Stellan Skarsgård. He's a great actor. And also the returning as well is Tom Hollander as of course Lord Cutler Beckett, who is of course the chairman of East India Trading Company who wants to eradicate pirates. And Tom Hollander did a great job playing Beckett in this. And I gotta say that Beckett's role of wanting to be, of course, the Lord of the Seas, it kind of reminds me a bit of Palpatine from Star Wars, and that's in a good way because I like to pretend this film is Return of the Jedi of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, hence why I like to say this film is the end of the franchise. And I think Tom Hollander did a really good job playing Cutler Beckett in this film. And I love as well how Cutler Beckett is also very professional and staying true to, of course, his role as of course, the chairman. And he even says, of course, it's nothing personal, it's just good business. Yeah, I definitely love that quote. And I also love the return as well of Naomie Harris as Calypso as well, who of course is Tia Dalma from the second film, will to be of course Calypso. Definitely, in my opinion, a really good plot twist, and of course I love how they gave her, of course, a connection to Davy Jones, which was really cool. And Naomie Harris did a great job playing Tia Dalma in this. And when it comes as well to Jack's crew as well, I also love the return as well, of course, of Kevin McNally as Gibbs. Kevin McNally always does a great job playing Gibbs, and Gibbs will always be my favourite crew member of Jack's ship because he's so loyal to Jack as his first mate. And when it comes to new characters introduced in this, I loved the introduction of Chow Yun-fat as Sao Feng, who is the pirate lord of the South China Sea. And I think he was definitely, in my opinion, a really cool addition to the film. And I think that Chow Yun-fat did a really good job playing Sao Feng in this. And so aside from as well a great cast of actors, I've already as well mentioned as well the CGI, because I definitely think the CGI for this film is once again absolutely incredible, because it was one thing that's great about this trilogy. It's definitely for me the CGI, and I think in this film it's absolutely fabulous and holds up really well to this day. Especially as well from when I rewatched the film recently. In my opinion, this film's CGI and visual effects have aged beautifully, in my opinion. And when it comes as well to a story, so while it may be my third favourite out of a trilogy, the story, in my opinion, is still good, and is still, in my opinion, a lot of fun to watch. And I think he does a really great job wrapping up loose ends, really. I think he does a really great job with it, really. And I think it was done really well. Also, I love how they gave all the characters in this important roles, and it also gave them good closure as well, which I definitely really appreciated. Because it seems that back then, of course, this was when Disney knew how to end stories, until, of course, they decided to milk this franchise, of course, 4 years later, unfortunately. And I can definitely see why Gore with it being, because he didn't want to direct any films after this one. And But nonetheless, I still definitely really enjoy this film a lot. And I also, once again, love the musical score by Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is one of my favourite composers of all time. And I definitely really loved his musical score in this. It was definitely, in my opinion, absolutely incredible to listen to. As always, he's a great composer. And when it comes as well to the action scenes in this, the action scenes in this film are awesome. And my favourite scene in this is most definitely the Battle at the Maelstrom. Like, the Battle of the Maelstrom is absolutely epic in my opinion. Like, tons of sword fighting and amazing visual effects. Like, wow. Just absolutely incredible. And definitely, of course, as well, a great way to end the story. Because I, of course, like to pretend this is the end of a great trilogy and nothing came after it. And speaking of course, a great ending, it has a very good ending, of course, where despite, of course, Will Turner being stabbed in the battle, he's able to stab, of course, the heart of Davy Jones, which, of course, kills Davy Jones. And I love as well how Colin Beckett also went down with his ship as it blew up. So I guess, of course, it of course refers to a saying of a captain going down with a sinking ship. That's definitely, in my opinion, a really cool way for a villain to go out defeated. Kind of reminds me a bit of Thanos accepting his defeat in Endgame, really. Only this time, of course, it's where Colin Beckett, of course, stands on his ship as it blows up with him. And I also love how it gave closure to Jack Sparrow, where, of course, he goes off on an adventure. So it ends his story on a happy note, where of course, despite the story being over, his story is able to continue as an adventurer, really. So, ended on a happy note for him, really. And also the same with Barbossa as well, because he of course reverts to his usual devious ways, and he steals a Black Pearl again, and to go off and also as well, of course, Will is able to return with the Dutchman 10 years later, of course, because when you're a captain of a Dutchman, you're only allowed to be on land once every 10 years. And of course, Will does that 10 years later, and his father stays with him as well on the ship. So that's really nice. So despite being freed, his father stays with Will. So I definitely love that, how, so despite being the captain of a Dutchman and not being allowed on land, apart from once every 10 years, he made peace with his father, which is definitely really great to see. So I love seeing that. So I love how this film gave really great closure, and to me, as far as I'm concerned, this to me is the end of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I like to say nothing came after this movie at all, and whenever I, of course, rewatch a film on a daily basis, I only rewatch the first 3 films, simply because they're the only films that I'm ever going to own, and because I like to say what came after this film is not canon. To me, it's just fan fiction that doesn't exist in the canon of the franchise to me. So, this film, despite what came after it, is still good, but it also hasn't got any bad qualities. So, while I think the film is still good, I kind of feel the story does drag on a little bit too long, because the film is 169 minutes, and in my opinion, it does feel a bit long in my opinion, but the fight scenes still make up for a long runtime, though, I must say. But maybe some parts could have been shortened a bit to increase the pacing to be better, because sometimes it does feel a bit slow at times, but definitely not as slow as what came after it, though, I will say that. But the fight scenes make up with it, though, in my opinion. And also, when it comes to how the film handles some characters, I personally did not like how the film executed the death of Gunnery Swan, because while it was a sad scene in my opinion, I was very confused when I first saw it. Like, how did he die? We never saw his death. So it came as a bit of a surprise, and I say surprise in a bad way, because they never gave any hints he was going to die or anything like that, or didn't even show it. I mean, there are some deleted scenes in the film, which in my opinion would have probably helped the film make more sense in terms of that, but yeah, I just feel they could have executed his death scene better by actually showing it. And I also, as well, personally think that Norrington deserved better as well, because he unfortunately gets killed by Bootstrap Bill Turner when he's helping Elizabeth escape from the ship. I felt really bad for Norrington, really, because I liked the development in the second and third films. I was disappointed he got killed off, which was very sad. And also, as well, while I did love the addition of Southend in this film, I do feel that he was quite underused in my opinion, and it's a bit of a shame if you guys saw trailers, because if you guys saw trailers for the film, you'd probably noticed that he was in lots of them, and I have seen the trailers, and he does appear lots in the promotion for the film, but unfortunately he gets underused, which is disappointing, and he gets killed off, which really sucks. Dies halfway through, which is a big shame. And I also don't feel that while I loved Orlando Bloom as well in this, I kind of feel in the first half of the film he was a little bit annoying, because he betrays everyone to save himself and Elizabeth without even caring about Jack. So, like, come on. Like, I thought Will was more likable than this. Why would he betray everyone like that? Come on. Yeah, I personally didn't really like that. Very disappointing in my opinion. But nonetheless, though, this film for this world, despite those nitpicks I have, is still in my opinion a good film. And I of course like to pretend it's the end of a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. And what came after it does not exist. But unfortunately, of course, in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be rewatching them all. God! I am not looking forward to that. I mean, because I think the fourth film after this one is a mediocre cash grab, was not needed, but the fifth film, oh, is absolute trash. Definitely not looking forward to watching that one. But nonetheless, for this film to me is still great, and to me it's the end of a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So if you guys were to ask me what I'd give a film out of 10, well, because it's my third favourite in the franchise, and to me the end of a franchise, I would probably give it a very solid score of 8 out of 10. Because to me, it's the true end of a franchise, and definitely, in my opinion, a great finale. And in my opinion, one of the best film finales of all time. It's a shame, really, that it's not officially a finale because of what came after it, sadly. But to me, it is a finale of a franchise, as far as I'm concerned. So, anyway, guys, this is me doing my review for Pirates of the Caribbean and at World's End 2007. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to tell us in the comments what you guys think of Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. If you've seen it, let me think in the comments below. Also, be sure to join Team Pirate by pressing subscribe if it's coming in the future. And Pirates Life for me, savvy.